Hey, welcome to 4 Accelerator. I'm your host Stu, and today we're going to be starting a new series where I will be maining the Mongols because I've decided that I really like the Mongols. I like their scouting bonus early on, I like their hunting bonus, which leads to a really fast early economy. And I like their mobility, their cavalry archers, their Mangudai. They've got a pretty straightforward build. You go for scouts, you go for cavalry archers and or Mangudai, maybe some archers in between, and then they've got their good siege, their fast siege at the end of the tech tree in the Imperial Age. So I just have a lot of fun with them. So I'm going to be doing this series just for the games where I play the Mongols, and I'll try to get better. This is on hard difficulty on normal speed. I'll try to get better, play on hardest difficulty, maybe even extreme difficulty, and who knows, might even start doing some multiplayer. And I'll probably continue playing as other civilizations as well, but for now I'm just going to focus on this. So you can see I start with a standard build a couple of houses, get 6 villagers out, put them on food, then I get that 7th villager to go build that lumber camp on wood. I'm finding some sheep, some goats with my scout. I used my starting sheep to scout out a little, and here the scout's going down. I should mention that this game is a mirror match, so it's Mongols against Mongols. I thought that this was a pretty fitting video to start with. I had a few other videos that I really liked playing as the Mongols, which I would have started out with, including one which was just a scout rush win against hard AI in the feudal age, and another one with cavalry archers instead of Mangudai. But unfortunately, those replays no longer work because of the most recent update. So I'm just starting with this one, and I think a mirror match is appropriate. So I'm going to show myself beating the Mongols on hard. I'm about to lure this boar over here, and I'm still trying to get my scout around. Going to pull that villager back. I've got 7 on food right now, including the one that's hunting, and I've got 3 on wood, so I'm going quickly with just those 3 on wood to try to get to the feudal age very quickly. Garrison that scout. I'm just trying to or that villager. I'm just trying to finish off that sheep before I attack this boar. But now we've got all those villagers. I need to get this villager out. There we go. Got the villager out of the town center, and now we're harvesting the boar. Meanwhile, I've still got these 4 sheep, which I've already discovered, and I've got this villager building a mill on berries. I should get villagers out. There we go. The town center is now producing villagers. I guess it already was. And at this point, I want to get a house up, so we'll wait and see when I do that. But still scouting around. I've already found all 4 sheep, but I want to scout out around my territory just a little bit to find extra resources, maybe some relics. And now I'm getting the 2nd boar. It's a little bit late with the Mongol hunting speed bonus. You really have to pay attention to the boar. There we go, and we got housed a little bit, so I'm going to send that next villager to complete that house. There we go. You really have to watch the boar because it'll go quicker than you think with the Mongols, especially if you put 7 or 8 villagers on it. So that was a little late, but not too late. We didn't really idle our villagers there too long. We still got the 3 on wood. We're sending these 4 or so to berries, and the rest are on the boar. Trying to keep the scout moving over here. In fact, let's turn off view lock. Keep the scout moving. I set a lot of waypoints. We found 1 relic there. And now I've clicked around the minimap to scout out the enemy location. And now that we've finished that 2nd boar, I moved the sheep over to the town center and just assign all those boar villagers to sheep now, which it's quite a large number of them. You can see I have 18 pop, that's 17 villagers plus the scout, and I just researched loom, so I'm going up right now at 18 villagers, and I'm going up to the feudal age, trying to do really quickly to get ahead of the AI here. And I start taking some villagers off of the sheep to send them to wood. So I get 5 at this lumber camp, then I send another 4, it looks like, over to this lumber camp to get that started. I want to build a house because I don't want to get housed first thing once we hit feudal. My scout's still scouting around. We just found the enemy. Found a lumber camp. We found a couple of miners. Scout scouting. Their scout found us. And we're trying to get the kill. Can we get it? We do get it. Great. With just four villagers garrisoned. Yeah, so we got 4 over here. And I should... There we go. I have 2 villagers from this lumber camp building the barracks over here. And our scout is still just following waypoints, moved past the enemy. I'll probably send it back to go check that out. And we have hit the feudal. And now that we have enough wood, I send those 2 villagers back to build a stable over here. Meanwhile, we're still finishing off those last sheep. We've got 8 on wood now. We've got 8 on food. With these 2 villagers that we'll send back to wood, we'll have 10 on wood. And we are back to pumping villagers out of the town center. And I'm just setting them on these straggler trees to get some extra wood. Researching horse collar now so that we can build farms after having horse collar. My scouts just stopped, and at some point we'll get that scout started again. Ogadai Khan has hit the feudal age now, but we have a fair bit of time on him, so now that I've got the stable up, I want to build some scouts, and I set the waypoint over to the scout that I started with, and I'm going to use all these scouts together to do a little bit of raiding. So meanwhile, I noticed that my mill and my berries are close to the 4 deer that start near us. I got housed, so I'll have to build a house somewhere. So I sent my berry villagers to go hunt, because they'll hunt very quickly and very effectively. And meanwhile, I sent the 4 sheep villagers over to gather those berries, so we keep those 8 on food. And then I send some of these villagers that went straight to straggler trees, I sent them over to build farms now that we've got horse collar researched. Meanwhile, I build a house here next to the stable to make a little wall in front of our gold. Still pumping out scouts here. Actually, the scouts have gone raiding, so I've got 3 scouts, including the starting scout. I kill 1 villager. About to get another kill here on the miner. And they have a spearman coming out. So I don't want to stay and fight the spearman, even though with 3, you know, you might be able to take it down. I do see an archer there. They're just using the archer to scout. Whenever you kill the AI's scout, they tend to just scout with another soldier, and that soldier just usually doesn't do any attacking from my experience. But meanwhile, we've built another couple of houses to build up a wall over this way. Got villagers back on wood. So we've got enough houses for now, had enough housing capacity. We're getting another scout out. It's going back to that original waypoint. And so since I pulled these scouts away from the enemy to avoid the spearmen, I'm scouting out some of the territory with them. But now we might send them back to do a little bit more raiding in another location of the base. That's one of the reasons I like the Mongols and going with the scouts, is because you can do this. You can, whenever you get challenged a little bit, you can run away, do a little bit of scouting, and then move back in to do a little bit more raiding, maybe in a place that they don't expect you just yet. And I'm going for Mangudai. There we go. They did find us, and I wasn't quick enough to get over there right away. They have quite a bit of spearmen, so these scouts aren't going to be super useful. Maybe you can get, you know, a little bit of raiding here and there along the outside of the enemy's base, but you don't want to stay for any prolonged engagements with that many spearmen with scouts. At this point, you could, let's see, I'm building a blacksmith right here. You could build an archery range and start building some archers, transition into archers. For that, you'd want to put people on gold, but I'm sort of just going for a fast castle at this point. So that's why I set a couple of villagers on stone, and then I send a couple of my berry villagers over to the gold so that we can start getting gold and start working towards the castle age. I'm putting some villagers on stone in the feudal age. I'm going to get 3 here and 5 gold miners. And you just make farms with these 4 villagers here. But I'm putting 3 on stone in the feudal age because I want to build a castle as soon as possible in the castle age. And that's so I can get out Mengidai. You could also go with cavalry archers, but Mengidai are just better than cavalry archers, so that's why I want to go for them first. And I'm using this little troop of scouts to just fill in the map, get rid of all the fog of war, in order to find relics, find resources. And I'm building a house wall over here. We missed one over there, which we didn't build just yet, but we'll finish that off soon. So I'm getting my housing capacity up. I need to get enough wood, or I have enough wood now to build a couple extra farms with these idle villagers. Keeping these scouts moving around. Meet up with this scout here. So right now I'm just using them. I'm using scouts to actually scout and not doing any raiding with them. But you can just keep them around the enemy base, and in another replay I'll show after this one, I do just keep harassing the enemy with my scouts, keep them moving. That way I can keep an eye on the enemy, and I can see what they're building, and then respond to it by building whatever I need to in order to counter. So got that house wall going up. And we are teching into the castle age. It doesn't look like we'll have enough stone to build a castle just as soon as we hit the castle age, but it won't take too long. Once we do go to castle age, we'll be up ahead of the enemy in any case, which is useful. Although, we should notice that I already have seen that they have quite a few spearmen and archers, and at this point, this is where it does pay to harass the enemy at their own base, because then it keeps their forces over at their base instead of attacking mine, which is useful. Right now, I don't have any skirmishers or anything, so I'm a little exposed here. We'll be less exposed once we get a castle up, but for now, I'd be pretty vulnerable to an AI attack. I also have another lumberjack building a house wall over here, and then building a regular palisade wall over here just to seal in our base completely. This gold and this stone are a little outside of our base, but we do have this gold inside, this stone inside. Meanwhile, I haven't moved these scouts at all. I haven't kept scouting with them, which is something that I would like to do. This gold is also just barely outside the base, but if we get a gold mine here, it's not likely that the AI is going to find it. And so, first things first, once I hit the castle age, I decide I don't have enough stone for a castle, so I think I will do a town center. So I delete a house in my wall, but I get attacked right there, and as I build this house to seal them out, I realize that there is a gap around my house wall right here, so some of the spearmen sneak through, and I also lose at least one of my villagers there, I think. So I want to send these villagers that are getting attacked by spearmen into the town center to kill those spearmen very quickly, and keep all my villagers here from getting attacked. So we'll kill those spearmen. Now we just have to worry about these archers, a couple spearmen out here, and skirmishers outside attacking our houses. I have these villagers here. I can't build a town center, but they will back off a little bit. I also need to reseed some farms. I don't have a lot of wood right now because I took these villagers off of wood. But in the meantime, because I deleted that town center before I built it at all, now I do have enough stone to build a castle. So I decide to put that castle down right here where the AI attacked. The AI usually likes to attack the same place over and over again. So that's why I'm putting this castle here. And I've also put down an archery range, and now I'm pumping out skirmishers, because those will be a nice defense against the archers, the skirmishers, and the spearmen that we got attacked by. Meanwhile, I am not producing any villagers from the town center. I should be. But I am producing skirmishers. Our scouts found the enemy archer scout. And now the enemy is back. They hit the castle age. They upgraded their archers to crossbowmen. Their spears are still spearmen for right now. They go through the gap in our house wall again, but our castle's nearly complete. So I call those skirmishers forward to deal with the spearmen. And I want to keep those skirmishers moving up to deal with spearmen. And as soon as we get that castle up, the AI knows better than to stick around, so they're just going to run away. Still not producing villages out of the town center, so don't do this. Don't let your TC be idle like this. Because while I built up the castle, I don't have another town center, even though I have enough stone. I don't have enough wood for another town center. So now I should be pumping out villagers, making sure I get lots on wood to rebuild these farms. Enough on wood to get some extra town centers right now would be great, and I just need a lot of wood because I want Mengidai. I built the castle in order to get Mengidai. I have plenty of gold from this town center. I sent villagers straight to the gold, so I have plenty of gold right now, but I don't have wood, and that's the problem. So now I've queued up 15 villagers from my town center. I'm going to be sending them to wood just to make sure I get more of that. And I'll put some idle villagers on wood as well. Meanwhile, because I have lots of food and gold, I decided to queue up some knights, because the knights will help deal with the archers and skirmishers, which we've already seen. Take a look at the enemy town here. We have one scout left, and I sent him there just to guard that relic. Scouts are good at guarding relics because they have an advantage against monks. And now I'm finally building that town center out here, which I wanted to build before. It's on a wood line, it's next to gold, and it's within the range of our castle, so it's a pretty good defensive place to build a town center. And this is another scout that the enemy has sent out. Gonna try to kill it with my castle, there we go. And I decided to have these skirmishers move out. I'm still building knights over here. Still building villagers for my TC. And I could build another TC over here. I don't think I ever do. Generally, I like to put them next to gold, or at least next to a couple of resources. I do build one over here. Next to this gold, which we've already been mining, but next to this gold and these woods. Eventually we're going to chop through these forests, and we can just build walls, of course, but having a TC there will give us a little bit of extra defense, so that's why I wanted to build a TC here, even though we already have a gold mine. I'm still running low on wood, so I still want to put even more villagers on wood. But meanwhile, we are building Mengidai whenever we can. We're still building knights. Researching fletching, a little bit late probably, but better late than never. And I've got villagers coming out of both my town centers here. Let's put it on view lock for a little while, see what I'm up to. I got this idle villager down by that wall, which I should be taking care of. So I got some skirms, I got some Mengidai, I've got some knights. I finally have enough wood to queue up more Mengidai. What I really like to do with the Mongols is to have just a horde of Mengidai roaming the map, raiding enemy villagers, and running away from any fights that they can't take. Meanwhile, if they run into, say, pikemen, they can just kite the pikemen, run away, shoot, run away, shoot. They have a rapid firing animation, which makes it really easy to kite enemy infantry like that. And once we get rid of all the pikemen with Mengidai, we're free to have our knights or light cavalry or whatever kind of cavalry you want just decimate any archers and skirmishers that they have. That's the strategy I'm going for right now. I'm also building the skirmishers just to be some nice defensive trash to counter all of the units we've seen from the AI so far. I should be putting on the score. I'm a little bit behind in score, but that doesn't mean I'm down and out. That could just be because they have a larger military. But a larger military isn't everything if you don't know how to use it well, or if you try to attack, you know, a defensive location with a castle or something like that. So now we've got 33 on wood, we've got 15 on food, we've got 10 on gold, still those same 3 on stone. And I don't want to rest on my laurels, I want to keep getting villagers out of all these town centers. So, building a villager here, building villagers there, building villagers everywhere I can. I'm also building skirmishers and knights. I should be getting more Mangudai out of this castle, because I have the wood, I have a little bit of gold. And I send a few of these villagers down here to build a gold mine. Just to get them out of the way so that I can produce villagers out of this town center straight onto this gold without so much bumping, and because you want to claim all the gold mines you can as fast as you can, just because they do run out and then the game gets a lot harder. What's over here? Our knights are going to chase down another one of these crossbowmen scouts that the AI is sending around, but I don't want to pursue too far. We can see a mine over here, so the enemy has begun trying to mine our stone, so I send out this army to go deal with that. One thing I've noticed about the AI is they really like to build outward and build a lot of, send villagers outward to mine whatever they can, to chop whatever they can. They'll put like a lumber mill here, even though it's very close to my base, and that's what you got to use these Mangudai and Knights for. I haven't been doing a good job of that. I've just been keeping them at home for defense, but really you want to be using these military to raid the enemy. And I think I'm starting to do better at that. I do that more often in the next video, but for right now, I've been mostly using them for defense. So now I'm starting to bring these forces out a little bit, do some scouting. This scout is about to get attacked and killed very quickly. We got a market going up over here in the middle. So here I want my Mangudai to kill the pikemen, and then I want my knights to just attack all of the archers and skirmishers, because my knights have a huge advantage against them. Actually, these aren't just archers, these are arbalesters, or arbalesters, or whatever, because the enemy is in the Imperial Age. They beat us to the Imperial Age by quite a bit. I haven't gone up yet, even though I have a castle, even though I have resources, so that was just leaving them to their own devices. I'm taking more TC fire than I probably should with these knights, but I do get a lot of their military down. In fact, I'd be interested to see right now just how much military they even have left at this point, because I really did cut through their forces quite a bit there. But I noticed that they're in the Imperial Age, so then I go back and I start researching the Imperial Age myself. Meanwhile, I'm still producing Mangudai out of my castle as much as I can, given my gold right now, and I'm starting to get a lot of wood. Now I don't have any wood problems. So building a castle right on that hill as a forward base. And I want to send these troops forward as well. I'm going to try to destroy that stable. The Mangudai aren't attacking the villagers, they're just attacking the castle, so I'm not too worried about those Mangudai. My 5 villagers will be able to get it up in a reasonable amount of time, and I have a much bigger force than the enemy does. And with this castle and the trebuchets I can produce from it, once we're in the Imperial Age, which we just hit, we'll be in a really good position to take down 2 of their castles. And stone is a pretty finite resource, so if you can take down a castle, I think that's a good thing. It just means that they're going to have less map control and fewer units they can produce. They've finally gotten out some camels, and they're sending out some steppe lancers too. I want to use my Mangudai to bring down these mangonels or onagers, whichever they are, because of their bonus against siege. And I kind of want some siege of my own, so I built a siege workshop behind this castle. I'm starting to build trebuchets already. We only need 1 or 2 to tear down these castles before they can build trebuchets of their own. We're starting to lose our military. I should be hotkeying these military buildings and sending out queuing or what's it called? Setting gather points over here to this new base to get more military. Because as you can see now, my military is just about exhausted. But as long as we can keep this trebuchet safe next to the castle, keep these trebuchets safe next to the castle, we should be able to bring down their castles relatively quickly. Yeah, I really need more military here. We get 1 castle down before we lose a trebuchet. Now I've got some siege rams coming out. That's an archery range. Got some battering rams, and I'm queuing up the upgrade to battering rams. And our trebuchet is still doing some work, destroying that castle. We have just enough forces garrisoned in our castle to have enough arrows to scare off the enemy's forces, which is good. I sent some villagers to mine stone over in front of our base. And I have these villagers build, I think, a monastery in order to start getting some relics. So we tore down their 2 castles, which is a good victory for us. Of course, that doesn't win you the game, but it's a start. And I'm garrisoning these Mangudai straight in the castle to just keep them healthy and safe and get more arrows from the castle. So there we go, we've got a monastery up, we've got some monks coming out. We sent 1 to get that relic right next to us. We should send this monk out to get some other relics afterwards. Building a stable right now. This trebuchet basically served its purpose already. Obviously you never want to lose a unit, but at least it already took down 2 castles, and that only cost us 2 trebuchets to do it, so I think we're in a pretty good position. I start packing up that trebuchet to attack the next town center that we can see, which is probably a little bit premature since there's still military out there and we don't have much military forward. And as you can see, the trebuchet is going to get destroyed, so that was probably a mistake. Right now I ungarrison the Mangudai from my castle because I want to take down those rams before they take down my castle. Sending monks out. There we go, we got both rams down. I'm building some light cavalry. I'm building Mangudai out of 2 castles. I'm building some mangonels from my siege workshop, and I'm building skirmishers from my archery range. At this point I have 93 villagers. That's more than the hard AI will build. I could still build more though, but right now I'm not queuing up any from my town centers. I really should, because I have the food for it, but oh well. And now the question is, can we save the castle? Because that ram has it real low. So I set my villagers to start repairing the castle. Fortunately, these 5 villagers can repair faster than the ram can destroy. So we will save this castle, it looks like. My gold miners have stopped working, so I start looking for some gold to send them to. I decided to just have them chop instead, since we still have a fair number of gold miners right now. But gold is starting to run low, so I have to start focusing on some trash units, especially light cavalry, which I want to upgrade to hussars, and the skirmishers, which I already have. But I still want these. I got these mangonels out. I still want to use these. I still want to use Mangudai. So that's where my gold is going to be focused. Siege and Mangudai. Fortunately, I don't use my mangonels very effectively. I got some friendly fire from them, and then they get destroyed. It's because the enemy hasn't really massed up a lot of archers. That's one thing I find about the AI is they send units out sort of one at a time generally, so mangonels aren't necessarily the best against them. They don't keep their units very clumped up ordinarily. Except right now, of course, as soon as I say that, we see masses of skirmishers, but... So I'm really relying on my castle here to take some damage and to deal it out. We got the mangonel down really quickly. I'm just letting them attack the castle, which isn't getting destroyed anytime soon, while trying to rebuild my military. send the military that I do have out, and they start cleaning up the enemy. Start building a second castle just because we have this nice hill defensive position, and I want to make it even more defensive because this is the only place the AI is actually attacking us. I should send some Mengidai or light cavalry to clear out these villagers, but I'm sort of more focused on the enemy's military right now. And that second castle is going up. Got my university up, time to research murder holes. And siege engineers. I remember my blacksmith, so I start researching some more upgrades there. Still trying to build up military in my castles. So I've got some skirmishers, some light cavalry. Started to build Mengidai out of these two castles. Building another stable. Try to get light cavalry out quickly because I have a lot of food. At this point they're hussars actually, I think. And I'm also researching siege ram. Which are very, very tanky units. So those siege rams are going to help us finally push into the enemy's base a bit more. Got some idle villagers, need to deal with those. Unfortunately, I'm out of gold mines right now, so it's a good thing that I have a few relics. How many relics do I have? I've got 2 relics. And I'm building a market so I can sell off some of my wood to get gold. My 2 castles are doing good work. They're able to defend one another, even though we also have murder holes. Get a conversion there. So now I start tasking some of my idle villagers to build a lumber mill, get them chopping. Get another lumber mill there. I'm amassing lots of hussars here at my forward base. Got 3 stables going. And I'm selling lots of wood from the market to get gold for more Mengidai and some siege. And I get a trebuchet out to try to bring down some of these military buildings to slow down the amount of forces they can send at us. And I got my siege ram out now as well. And out come the light cavalry. Out come the trebuchets, out come the Mangudai. Time to do a push. Set my trebuchets to attack the town center. Send the siege rams in as well. They got a castle over here, which I need to deal with. Now I'm sending these trebuchets over to deal with that castle. Meanwhile, I'm letting my hussars do their work. Need to sell more food for more gold. At this point, I'm prioritizing siege and hussars. Still getting skirmishers out. I'm getting the drill promotion for our siege to make them much faster, which will be especially useful for our siege rams, which I'm queuing up lots more of. There's another castle down, and we have siege rams in a prime position to attack the enemy town center. We should have another town center, yeah, back here. So we'll need to go after that one next. But our fast siege and our trebuchets should make short work of these TCs. So you can see our siege rams are just tearing through the enemy's houses right now. And our trebs are already destroying the enemy's TC. There it goes. So now we're out producing the enemy. We just have to finish it by hunting down their buildings and their villagers as much as we can. Sending Treb over to destroy that castle, using my hussars to defend it. And speaking of hunting down villagers, it's time to hunt these ones down. Selling wood again. If you take a look at the score, you can see that we've greatly outpaced our enemy here, mostly from military, by having a lot of buildings destroyed, a lot of units killed, and having far fewer lost. The enemy's castle falls. There's another castle. The AI also likes to build these rear castles even though they're pretty useless. So I'm finally sending some hussars to deal with these villagers. Found another TC with my siege ram, so I send those down to destroy that TC very quickly. And again, sicking hussars on villagers. Get rid of as many of them as I can. And at this point, the enemy doesn't even have anything queued up. Taking out villagers here with our hussars. And there's the abdication. So that's the game. Let's leave the map, have a look at our scores. So we killed it in all the categories. We're behind in society though. Look at military, 696 killed, 353 lost, 76 raised, 0 buildings lost. Largest army is 54. Collected less stone and gold, but more food and wood. Tech, we were only behind in the Imperial Age. We had a good 6 minutes behind them there, but they didn't do much with that advantage. We were a little bit behind in research. Had fewer relics, had fewer castles, but we made better use of those castles. And we had more villagers because the hard AI tends to stop at 75 to 85, somewhere around there. And here's the timeline. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you liked, please like and subscribe. If you have any thoughts, please leave a comment. And I hope to see you next time. Bye!